balloon man is
adjacent, though.
worse, I would say. The balloon man, there's an
because
element
the balloon man
of...
he knows he's a loser.
Okay,
Who's the
interesting.
balloon
All
man?
right.
Well, does he?
Do I know
Sorry,
this guy?
the balloon man does sound like someone,
yeah.
someone that your parents tried to make you afraid of as a child.
Yeah.
Well, if you keep doing that, the balloon man will come.
This is it, yeah.
And a 19th century explorer will come and take you to Burma.
yeah, that's right.
I'm trying to think. Have I ever said, no, do it again to anything? I don't know if I have.
Someone's come on your back and you're like, no, that'll never do.
Yeah, I'm
You
like,
call that a load, sir?
I'm like Kubrick, 100 times.
This guy's just coming talc by the end.
yeah. It's just like a cartoon, like the little dust noise.
I got it. The guy's had a vasectomy, but he's had his like semen producing gland in his prostate replaced with like the roll of caps from a cap gun, so that when he comes, it makes that little like snapping noise.
Have it replaced with like a little flag. Have like a comedy one.
Instead of bang, it says come.
Yeah.
It could say anything really. It could say like a now lower calorie.
Yeah, I guess it could really. It would have to say the noise that cum makes, rather by the logic of the flag. Otherwise, the flag from the gun would say bullet or something on it.
That's a good point. Yeah, that would be.
So it'd have to say like,
and that would be
splush.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, bullet.
Like spwit.
I think maybe the flag from the gun should just say bullet. More informative.
Yeah.
Representative. Bang, that could be a blank.
It could.
You know who I fucking hate? You know the guy who holds up the fucking signs?
Yeah, fuck that
we're
guy.
We're not okay or whatever. I hate that guy.
Wait. Yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking about just about like American sign advertising.
No.
Which
guy? You reminded me with the bang or the cum thing. Yeah. The guy who stands on the street and does like he's got a very popular Instagram account.
Stop talking about your podcast or whatever.
Yeah. And he's got like sunglasses and kind of long hair, and he's always Everyone's like, look at this guy's funny sign.
I've got no material or any bit planned about that. I just hate the fucker.
I think
that's it. That's it. There is nothing. Don't look at me.
I find that's an authentic reaction.
I didn't know it was his whole thing.
Yeah, I mean,
now I hate him.
It's insanely popular.
I hate that.
Did he take off? Because this is different from the Balloon Man.
It's
correct?
It's Balloon Man
balloon
adjacent,
man is worse, I would say. The balloon man. There's an element
the balloon man
of...
he knows he's a loser.
Okay,
Who's
interesting.
the balloon man?
Right.
Well, does he?
Do I know this guy?
The balloon man does sound like someone that your parents tried to make you afraid of as a child.
Yeah.
Well, if you keep doing that, the balloon man will come.
This is it. Yeah.
And a 19th century explorer will come and take you to Burma.
Yeah, that's right.
You'll be whisked away to the Trucial states by the balloon man.
This is like cryptozoology or something. This is like a creature.
Like a version of It Follows, but where you're being pursued by a man in a hot air balloon around the world. And he's like, he may not get there quickly, but he's not stupid. And he will pursue you.
So who is Balloon Man?
So Balloon Man, imagine kind of like the sign guy, but he does it with balloon letters, but not like balloon models. They're like factory-made, like foil balloons that are in the shape of letters.
Like the Mylar, but like happy birthday.
And he kind of
balloons.
like tacks them up against a wall and so that they read a message. Could be something even quite long sometimes. And then he kind of stands and leans against the wall in a sort of smarmy way.
I don't like this at all.
No.
I prefer the sign guy to this.
No, sign guy's worse because because it's too close to home. The balloon guys are just a loser and everyone knows it.
I guess the effort of the balloons makes it closer to art.
Yeah.
It's not art, but it's on in the way.
Too neggy? Don't like it?
I was going to say I think it doesn't make it closer to art because I could blow up a lot of balloons.
But
not art.
He's not even blowing them up. I'm pretty sure they're helium balloons. So he's probably using a canister.
Yeah, he could be. Well, he's doing. I don't know if this can go in, but a friend of mine's dad has fancied himself a kind of Damien Hirst.
Oh,
wow. Okay, all right.
He did a number of odd things in his garden.
It's just because he wants to split fucking animals into fuck around with them.
This is when we find out that your friend's dad is I was going to say Dean Koontz. Is Jeff Koontz. I've spent so long joking that I think Jeff Koontz is Dean Koontz. I now can't.
It wasn't even Jeff Koontz. It's Dale Shillooly. That's who you're trying to mix up.
Right.
No. But we were saying that Dale Shillooly is a bit similar to Jeff Koontz in his overall sensibility, and then that's when I mistakenly said airport novel author Dean Koontz.
Yeah.
I've got an original Dean Koontz in my house.
No.
First edition Dean
Well,
Koontz.
yeah. One of the 2000 of the first Dean Koontz fucking press.
But that's a good idea, though. If you're a serial killer in that sadistic animal killing phase, you just go, no,
yeah.
I'm
I'm doing hers.
doing a sort of MA in
Yeah.
in
That's
fine
basically
arts.
Manson, though, isn't it? He was like, "Oh, and they all thought he was cool as fuck.
What do you think? Like Goldsmith, like has like 10% more serial killers than the rest of the UK.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe.
Decent
Yeah,
alibis.
I mean, legally, obviously, we can't say that it does.
Yeah.
Legally, we cannot say that Goldsmith is offering a course in serial killing, getting away with it, and cutting out the letters for the ransom note.
it's weirdly close to all
Yeah.
the Satanic Panic, new Satanic Panic thing, isn't it? With
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
it is like that is in the.
The Goldsmith students would love the ransom note because it's basically collaging.
That's true.
That would be the sort of thing that would appeal to them, I think. You know, you get there.
I quite like the Satanic Panic thing because it's kind of just like a magic eye contest to see how many goat horns you can see and stuff.
Yeah,
Does this look a bit like a goat?
yeah.
Well, then it's bad.
That could be the balloon guy he could be holding. That could be one of his messages on the wall.
If you read the balloons
If
backwards,
I saw that come up in my feed, I'd think that was all right.
Well, the balloon guy.
No. The
Oh, heaven, no, that's not the balloon guy.
The message that you said, what was it? How many goats can
How
you
many
see
goats
in?
can you see in this?
Yeah, how many goats can you see in this?
Yeah.
You saw the balloon guy. If that was his message for the day, I'd be
Yeah,
like, oh,
okay.
that's all right.
A bit enigmatic.
You
That's
could get a
nice.
fun little
I like
focus group together of like Tipper Gore and some of the other Satanic Panic people and just present them.
Excuse me, Tipper Gore? Tipper Gore was rap music panic.
No, Tipper Gore was Motley Crue and the rock music. I don't know if, and maybe not Satanic specifically, but she was prior to the rap music thing. She was doing all of the she was really big on Motley Crue. That was the people she hated the most.
Do you think that sort of hard right evangelical Christians are accidentally really good at knowing what's on trend because they have to know what's on trend in order to say it's the devil?
Yeah, like they're on TikTok. They're following it all.
They're actually really hip to stuff because they're just like, well, I got to know. I need to know what the devil's up to now.
Plugged in.
Yeah.
Like it's, if you were
they're
to
like
be
counterintelligence.
if you wanted to be possibly the world's greatest A&R, one of the last 3 A&Rs that's not just going on social media and trying to sign 11-year-old TikTokers to 4-album deals,
Yeah.
you could be going to Baptist churches in deepest Tennessee and just talking it oh my god, they're saying that a SoundCloud rapper with only 20 followers right now is Baphomet. We gotta get him.
You got a scorched
Perfect.
zine.
That is perfect, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's got a
You
face
start
tattoo
from-
that says Baphomet.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You could get the Satanic Panic people on side, and then they're just going to do your PR for you. But I do think that's fun, just getting them all in a focus group and just showing them innocuous things and just seeing what they come up with, just presenting them with a milk carton.
We're doing reverse logic. Showing them stuff and going, is this frightening?
Yeah.
And if they say yes, you go for it. Let's do it.
Yeah,
If they think it's frightening, it's almost inevitably a
Yeah.
big hit.
yeah, you're giving them a James Blunt album from 2004 and being pick up on something.
Well, as the test, it's the blank, the placebo.
That's the test card for the camera.
Yeah, and they go, no, it's not frightening. You go, good, this is good.
Yeah. We're settling in.
What if they find
Now we're
something
going to move you up to Bublé. See what you think about that.
But what you're really trying to do is you're trying to find the least actively mentally ill, but most perceptive, sort of religious Yahoo.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a perfect cut. We can't even put this out because this is too good of an idea.
Yeah.
I think focus grouping those people is really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, satanic guy, but who has really high standards. He's not going along with the crowd. He'll just say anything is satanic.
It's the same.
He's like, no, Takeshi 6ix9ine is Satan. However, I do actually think that Deant would have some good points to make. I don't, they're not. They may not be to my taste, but they're not satanic.
The way I'm seeing this actually as well is because a lot of this is happening in fashion. Because Balenciaga being a brand for sort of wealthy idiots,
Yeah, oligarchs' girlfriends, such the like.
Exactly. they
dream.
had a whole wouldn't we all? They had a whole ad campaign that was just like, hey, check it out. We've have a child in this photo, and then there's like a porno mag next to the child. Doesn't that freak you out? And then a bunch of these people got freaked out. I think we need to find the one who's not just getting freaked out at Balenciaga. We need to get one of those guys and send him to like the Central St. Martin's graduation show. And you just hit a button. Like, how fucking weird is this?
He's like a Geiger counter. You just release him into an environment and he starts like radiating more energy as he gets closer to something truly
Geiger
satanic.
counter.
Very nice.
Nice. You see the crowd going around the sort of final exhibition for the graduates, and it's all like trendy people and proud parents or whatever. And then there's just like a sort of fucking Colonel Sanders looking, like a old Baptist preacher from Tennessee.
Now, could you tell me more about this particular abstraction which you have constructed?
Why, it's disgusting. It's an offense unto Christ. Immediately that person is taken away by sort of Secret Service looking guys. Bag of money.
They're just spraying him with holy water from a super soaker.
This is who we want. Go.
Like, look, you have to take one holy water super soaking, but your strange Batwing cloak is going to be on Milan runways next week.
Absolutely. Yeah. It'd be fun also if it wasn't like
your high fashion devil costume.
Just a guy in like a Halloween outfit. Everyone's like, it's genius.
Stimpy from Ren and Stimpy. I remember there's an episode where he's in a devil. He's dressed up as a devil. What is that? That's an intro. What is it? Anyway, whatever. It's a really crap devil outfit cut. Whatever.
But it's got like a butt flap.
Yes,
and stuff,
exactly.
It's like pajamas.
Oh my God, that's what I'm picturing now.
Not just the devil, but like a sex devil.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and it's like long johns basically with horns on.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
That's exactly. Yeah, thank God.
That's probably not satanic. It's not more than Halloween costume. And then you show him Peppa Pig, and he's like, "My God."
Yeah, you got to try harder to make me panic. Like slowly, the guy starts to get a bit like camp and a bit fashiony. Like it just rubs off on him naturally.
He becomes wise to it and just is then a fixture at all of the parties.
Yeah, he's having a great time.
That would be the best grift, to be the TikTok satanic panic, like the guy who everyone has to impress or not impress, depending on what you're after. And you build like a whole following. He's like Twitch streaming. People are sending stuff in, asking whether it's satanic or not.
That is true. The evangelical grift, but bring it into TikTok. That's good.
Work it together. Just be like, look, if you get cred if I try and stop you doing what you're doing. Just pay me and I will.
Yeah.
God may have not created TikTok per se, but he did create the Chinese government. Who in their turn, with the hand of providence that was given to them, saw fit to create this here application.
At that point, of course, this guy hugely drops off in popularity. We got to find a new guy. When it turns out he was like, not just like
their servers are in heaven, sir.
Not even like a Maoist, like a Dengist. But he's just he's so specific.
You have to get like the next satanic guys that it's like rappers. He beefs the popular one and tries to say that he's satanic, and everyone goes, "Oh shit!"
No, that just happens. That really just happens.
Yeah, that's true.
It happens like with one of the most popular things is like there are these Facebook groups dedicated to identifying that every single famous person is secretly trans.
Oh, yeah.
But then what happens is they get into fights and then they start calling each other trans.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone's brains are full of worms.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like the internet does something to your brain that's like whatever happens to dogs in a hot car? Like it's just there's a frenzy to it that I find really sinister.
Whenever you're on the internet, you need to have the air conditioning running and your favorite music on. That's an important.
A bowl of water for yourself nearby. Just dunk your fucking head in.
The TikTok evangelical preacher, he keeps himself cool by licking out of a bowl. I want to say my friend's dad. Right, he fancied himself a bit of a Damien Hirst. Well, so he read an article. My friend's dad loves to like read an article.
Yeah, when you say fancy himself a bit of a Damien Hirst, it does feel like Damien Hirst is Cockney rhyming slang for something. He's a bit of a Damien Hirst, if you know what I mean.
He's the worst.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, something. We'll come up with something.
He was the first. He's the worst.
We can workshop this. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, I think cursed is good. It's like, mate, you're Damien Hirst.
Yeah. Everything keeps going wrong.
It's not bad.
Everything's gone wrong for him since that witch Damiened him. Be like, It's needlessly
Paul
tortured
Mercer
slang.
saying that.
There's no way that's in common use across, well, East London or more likely Essex at this point.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
He got Damien by that flea's itch.
He needs some I've new.
You gotta. It's brutal for a flea to get an itch, isn't it? Really hoisted by their own petard.
There's a lot of irony in Cockney rhyming slang now.
Yeah. It's all coming through. Sorry, so your friend's dad.
My friend's dad. He decided basically, Damien Hirst isn't actually an artist. He just sort of tells his little sort of workshops to do weird stuff.
He's like Santa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this little boy has been very good, so he'll be getting a shark in formaldehyde, which is what I presume little boys want.
Well, no, Damien Hirst does have to be understood as a kind of Santa for the 0.001%.
Yeah.
Because he does just make the kind of fucked up shit that he wants in a little workshop.
You're in your like oligarch's compound and you just hear like rumbling coming from the roof, like bloody Damien Hirst is at my chimney again. I told you, no more sharks.
I don't want another
fuming. I've already got an original Dean Koontz.
Just
It's worth nothing.
all the late 90s YBAs in this kind of Arctic workshop.
Tracy Emmons in my air conditioning ducts.
Just trying to mess up my bed.
Tracy Emmons is like the reverse of a cleaner.
Yeah, she's fucking around my bed, and she's put up a little tent.
Yeah, she's broken into my room. She's left used condoms everywhere. My wife thinks I'm having an affair.
Who are those two guys?
Which I am. I'm sleeping with Tracy Emin.
Well, she's giving me no choice. She climbs in the middle of the night.
Who are those two guys who wear like tweed suits and just cover everything in swastikas and dicks?
Oh shit! The brothers. They're Greek. They're Greek.
Yeah,
the Greek
yeah,
brothers.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Wait, two Greek men who wear tweed suits and cover everything in swastikas. This is an amazing.
Chapmans. The
Chapmans,
Jake and Dinos Chapman.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're Greek. Just I remember one was called Dinos.
I was going to say surely with a name like
It's like
Chapman.
Yakovos Chapman
Chapmanu.
and Konstantinos Chapman. I think probably they're Greek.
Greek mom, English dad or something.
This stuff is very dick and swastika heavy from what I recall.
They had a load
Okay.
of stuff in that thing at the South Bank recently, the horror one. That was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Dick and swastika heavy is something that would describe either something very, very troubling in the pornographic genre
Yeah.
or like the Kama Sutra.
Yeah. Well, the most interesting couple at a dinner party. This is dick and swastika heavy. They work with me at the institute.
My wife,
My wife swastika.
please. Mrs. Heavy was my mother.
Yeah, call me swastika. Call me
My parents
Swazi.
were real hippies, but they were unaware of everything that happened in World War II. They refused to learn
They were at
about
a
anything
retreat.
that happened before 1946.
They find learning about war to be a real bummer. So
Mm.
they've decided never to know anything.
If she's posh enough, all her friends could just call her Swazi, and no one would ever.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was named after the land.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just no one would ever know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty believable. I'm now just stuck in my head on getting like a guy around to deal with your Tracy Emin infestation. Oh mate, once they're in the ducts, it's a nightmare. Now you've got to have it all out. Now she'll be doing sketches in there and all sorts. Now you're gonna be pulling sculptures out of your pipes for years, mate. You got to completely fumigate the house. You got to be out of here for 2-3 months.
I don't blame you for not noticing. It doesn't look like art. But
That is technically what it is. Yeah. No.
I'm afraid there's subtext all over it once you
No,
actually look
people
into
who
it.
get an infestation of Turner or Constable, they tend to notice it earlier on due to the classical oil paintings that appear around the house.
Sunsets.
Yeah, A. Wayne, things of that nature.
I don't think a sentence has ever been said. Yeah.
I had a fella once, Oxford Sublime Curve, all over his bathroom. So my friend,
Mhm.
his dad, who's like sort of works in the arts, has had some success.
Okay,
Has a sort of big house down in Sussex,
right.
and he said, "I'm going to do visual art now." And this lasted for about 8 months,
Mhm.
and he did a bunch of odd things that are just still dotted around.
Odd things. So I'm getting the vibe that he's not even painting. He's gone straight into
Yeah.
something
No,
more abstruse.
there's
Okay, right. Yeah,
no
yeah,
painting has been done. Also, I believe he hired people to do it. So he took my friend's.
I quite like that.
Yeah.
That's Damien Hirst.
Yeah.
Well,
It was. He read an article in the Guardian about Damien Hirst,
Yeah.
and then just like, I'll have that. I'll do it.
He's one of those guys who really believes
He's
in the art
"Damn
of
it,
delegation.
I thought this was going to work. after he's a multi-millionaire after 8 months.
I mean, he started that way. He's fine.
Putting the art into the art of delegation, just like walking into your team of artists you've hired straight out of Central St. Martin's or whatever, and like with like your cigarette and going, right, what have you been working on? It's nonsense. It's ridiculous. Like stubbing out your cigarette on some 22-year-old. Do something better.
This
Dean
would
Koontz will be furious.
this would never freak out my friend the Colonel. My friend the Colonel would think this was all super regular. It doesn't matter that, oh my God, this painting is inspired by Adolf Hitler. It was watercolors of houses.
Yeah, that's not enough.
Yeah. Or it's Adolf Hitler's art, not his later work.
But it is quite cargo culty.
Yeah.
But I too have messed up my bet. Therefore, like, you know, it's like robot logic. Like, therefore, you know, come on.
Yeah.
So we just mess up all the beds in the world. That's poverty sort of solved.
Yeah, because they're all worth so much.
Yeah.
Do you reckon Hitler was still doing the paintings after he'd moved on to being a sort of genocidal maniac, like just on the side?
He's probably pretty busy.
Yeah. What do you mean?
The whole thing with him that he wasn't that busy? Everyone in the Third Reich was always trying to get him to do stuff, and he like refused to get out of bed before midday.
But I think that was more
pouting?
because he was constantly alternating between like meth and fucking opiates and stuff.
Out of his mind.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a lot of meth in the Nazi regime. One of the few things they got right, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm using few in a really capital F way there. I'm not saying it's many things on that list. It's a pretty short
I
list.
think meth is good.
Putting meth in chocolate, two great tastes that taste great together. I think I'm pretty much going to leave it there with things they got right. I think I'm going to take a bold stance and say that most of everything else, not good.
That was things they got right for 100. Do you want to do 200? Or do you want to leave it there and start a new category?
I want to hear some examples of this dilettante work.
So he did a number of things. He took my friend's car from when he was young, and he had a quite sort of crap car from when he was young.
Okay.
And then he put it on an 8-foot metal pole.
Okay.
Would that be strong enough to support? How big was this pole? How big are we talking?
It was a hefty. Well, because a car, if you balance it right, it's not that heavy. It wasn't a big car.
Yeah.
It was a sort of a 2-door hatchback. It was not big.
Was that it? Is car on a pole?
Yep.
Car on a pole.
Car on a pole.
That's it.
Car on a pole. I think I'm quite into this guy's work. Car on a pole feels quite fun.
Yeah. So like an automotive lollipop.
Yeah. When you try and drive over a rising bollard without the appropriate authorization.
Yeah, that's what the work referred to.
Yeah. It's like the Bob Dylan, a mattress balanced on top of a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
The leopard skin pillbox hat.
Play on that.
Yeah. It feels visually similar.
Yeah.
So I don't know what his inspiration was. I think around the time that he decided he wanted to start doing art, my friend got a new car.
I think he's a man who works with the resources available to him.
It's found art. Yeah.
And he found it in his driveway. He didn't have to go very far.
Yeah.
This does have a bit like the birth of Mormonism about it. Like a man really driven by circumstance. He's like, and you're just buying a new car at the start of my visual art journey. This can only mean one thing. It's a sign from Providence that I must put your old car on an 8-foot pole.
Yeah.
They have like a little forested area in there, sort of, because it's like in the country.
Who doesn't? You got the bathroom, the kitchen, the forested area.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
It's in the countryside, right? This house. It's in the countryside.
It would be very extravagant in like Marylebone.
You never get planning for it.
Yeah. A forest?
Yeah. I do like the idea of trying to apply for planning to do some conceptual yard art in like central London.
Yeah, well, they made that stupid mound, that hollow sort of.
Oh yeah, the mound.
Hollow like chain link fence mound, and
it had conceptual art inside of it.
Yeah,
it had some boxes that lit up on the corners, and that.
What happened to the mound?
They had to take it away. It was only ever there for a bit, and they said it was going to be covered in trees, but they were like freshly planted trees, and it's like,
what was it for?
They don't grow immediately.
Oh, I can tell you what it was for. It was because Oxford Street was getting a little like, with all of the money laundering that goes on there, and fewer people were going to Oxford Street. And so Westminster City...
Wait, you mean there's money laundering going on Oxford Street? You mean when I go down there every day to do my American candy shop to stock up on things for the cupboard, you mean I'm supporting some kind of front business?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah. When I try and desperately chisel Twizzlers off the fused blob of Twizzlers that seems to be completely undisturbed in one of these big bins.
Something I absolutely love is one of the little ironies that's been created by London as a city and sort of capitalism in general is the way that Oxford Street is full of Chinese tourists who are in a shop buying souvenirs that were made in China from a man who is also Chinese. This is an entire thing that could have taken place in the town in China where the souvenirs were made, but has needlessly been displaced to London. It is an entirely Chinese transaction, but that's taking place in central London for some reason.
Yeah. What you're talking about is Walter Benjamin's theory of aura, but applied to like a little Big Ben.
Yeah.
So I presume, yes. I'm going to take your word for it.
So the Marble Arch Mound was commissioned by Westminster City Council at a cost of many, many millions of pounds.
Mm-hmm. You wouldn't want a cheap mound.
You wouldn't want a cheap mound.
No.
And the point of it was to revitalize the area over the course of 12 months, and it cost £30 to go up the mound. And then from the top of the mound...
It cost 60 to go down. That was how they get you.
From the
Grand Old Duke of York was fucked.
To cost
Paying that 10,000 times.
Up and down, they made their money back right away.
Yeah.
And he needs the money. He has some legal cases to defend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he does, yeah.
Yeah. No, so...
Shouts out to him anyway. Yeah. Right, you'll get there, buddy. If you want to donate to the GoFundMe, it's in the description.
I think you might have just come up with the world's least popular GoFundMe, possibly worse than the kudos for the meth chocolate at least GoFundMe. Those are both at the bottom.
Yeah. I reckon there's got to be some Prince Andrew did nothing wrong psychos out there.
The pub in Farringdon with his
they all work
on.
at the Telegraph.
There's the Duke of York. You know that, not in Farringdon, in Fitzrovia. There's a pub with literally a contemporary picture of Prince Andrew on it called the Duke of York.
Yeah.
It's genuinely there. You go in and it's a weird pub, but it's they've had it obviously done up. It's recent.
The people who's like that. Oh God, what if they had it done up like in 2016?
No,
timing?
They are they're staunch royalists to this day. Look it up, Duke of York.
It's so funny because there have been so many innocuous Dukes of York, but they're like, no. We
know which one we mean.
They're going to rename it the Swan and Peter. They're going to do
exactly. Yeah.
It would be fun if they had it done up in 2016. And now they're like, well, we can't afford to change the picture. It's an oil painting. It's an original Dean Koontz. We've had to.
I would have thought maybe, if that was the case, you walk in and as you sort of look at the barman, they just go, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It says the Duke of York, and then underneath in brackets it says, sorry.
So, the Duke of York, Fitzrovia, 47 Rathbone Street, London. There's some questions have been asked on Google, like Google questions. Just Google everything now.
That's where I go for my answers.
Yeah. So Neil P, local guide, 140 reviews, 1,386 photos. The man loves Google.
Cool guy.
Okay.
His question for the Duke of York Fitzrovia, given that all the other questions are like, oh, is this a pedo pub? Is it called the Private Citizen? Her, etc. His question is just, do we need to pre-book a table for beers these days, or can we still just go?
Yeah.
This guy has got it. He's got the town.
He's pragmatic.
Yeah.
You don't amass over 1,300 photos on Google reviews without being a cold-hearted pragmatist when it comes to local business.
I respect this guy because I reckon he's, every pub in London is far too overcrowded. He's probably worked out that the Duke of York is one of those pubs where you can get a table. It's no problem.
There's always
You have your birthday party at the Duke of York, they'll hire it out, at cost.
So there's a whole well of information here now. I'm reading about the Duke of York Fitzrovia. And because it was in 2014 that they were given permission to use Prince Andrew's picture on the sign. That's only a few good years of deniability.
Yeah.
Right? That's you got 3 years, 4 years before sort of all the stuff starts coming out.
Yeah.
And then the
Actually, I think the stuff coming out about Prince Andrew is later than you think. I think it was maybe 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
He was walking in the park with Epstein after Epstein got out of jail quite a long time ago, but then no one no one gave a shit.
It was
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
like the stuff
Yeah.
is
Oh, it
historic,
was-
but
it was known.
but I think it was not broadly known
Yeah.
by anyone until
he
maybe
became
like
famously
2019.
terrible in a way that was not
Yeah.
deniable. Only like considering like you've probably worked for a while and you're very proud. We're the only pub in the UK that bears this sweaty pedophile's image. And
Not sweaty.
oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You can't sweat.
One piece of information wrong there.
Yeah. I won't say what it is.
And that's the backbone of the court case.
Yeah.
Pedophile, I will not contest.
So, but to like be like, well, we are the only one that's got the modern picture, right? The cool, sexy modern picture of this guy's awesome face on outside our pub. That's going to get people to want to come here.
Because you wouldn't want the face of an alive person on a pub. Surely you'd feel it would be like weirdly atonal with the vibe of a. Like it should be a Duke of York from like 1500. Like
it doesn't feel it doesn't scratch that history itch that pubs can sometimes. Also,
Yeah,
it's
but
weird-
yeah.
it's weird because the royal family don't go in pubs.
Oh, they do.
They do
The
to like
colour of the
pour
man.
ceremonial pints, but like
Yeah.
they drink in like the officers' mess or whatever.
Yeah,
they don't
sure.
they don't wander down to the local pub, do
The
they?
officers- Imagine you're just like a junior army officer in the British Army, and then one day the Queen walks in for like a gin and jubonnet.
Yeah,
Any place I can get any peace?
Get subsidized.
I can't going down to the Duke of York, but they put up a picture of my son. I can't drink looking at him. Can't bear it.
Has anyone ever been to the Commons pub?
There's a pub in the House of Commons.
Yeah, it's massively subsidised. Like literally, like
Strangers Bar, isn't it?
I
Is that the
don't
other
know.
one?
I don't know. Is that what it's called?
I think so,
Strangers
yeah.
Bar
One of them
feels
is
like it
called
would
the-
be for cruising.
There's one. Well,
Yeah.
there's the Strangers Bar, and then there's maybe another one, or that's the one I'm thinking of. the
There's one.
canteen.
I saw a picture of a menu the other day, and it's like 1984. It's like the 94, but bad year to pick. Any of the years, Uber. Pick a year. 1984. Brilliant. Yeah, great.
I could see your forehead just got a little bigger. And you got this much closer to a column in The Spectator.
Well, it was anyway. Whatever. It's really fucking cheap.
The
It's
beer- yeah.
insanely cheap.
Pints
The
are like
beer's
£1.10 or
cheap.
whatever.
Yeah, and like it's like very nice looking food for like £1. I really want to go.
Yeah, that's
So if
you think
any
It's worth
MPs are listening,
being an MP. Well, being an MP, you could be an MP.
yeah.
You could
A friend of mine used to be
campaign on wanting cheap food for me.
Yeah, for me, I want. it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
I wanna
I swear I'll let you guys in.
Yeah, going for the by-election.
A friend of mine used to be in the Air Force, and at one of these subsidized like Air Force bars, like a shot and things. It was like 5p, 10p, like beers were like £1 or 80p.
Seems like-
But there was a challenge which was something like you need to drink a tenner.
Oh.
Yeah, and that was the big challenge, is if you could actually drink a tenner of booze from this insanely subsidized bar, something like that.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
a lot.
not
That's a lot of
doable.
booze.
You
Yeah.
could do it. You could be like, yes, I'll have one champagne, please.
Don't know if
No, I don't know. I think if a beer is 80p, I'm not confident that like a
£3.20 on the champagne.
like a £10
Yeah,
might be
yeah,
like
yeah.
a whole bottle of champagne, but that's still champagne's a pretty hefty drink.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, you could get through it.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Yeah. I see.
You know, you could.
Interesting. I'm having a bottle of Pol Roger
Yeah.
at the Air Force bar.
No, the only way to, I can't believe it. The only way to get through 10 pounds at the Air Force bar is you actually you can't just have like Paul Roger. You have to have like Paul Roger Winston Churchill or like,
The one that tastes of Winston Churchill.
no, that's what they call their,
The pint.
that's what they call their big, their
Yeah.
highest quality champagnes. They call it Winston Churchill.
Isn't it the
He
new?
was a fan of
yeah, isn't there that you'll know this? The Churchill amount, the pint of wine, right? Is it? They did pint of champagne.
Yeah,
they sell.
yeah.
they sell this specific amount that he said was like,
Measurement,
the finest.
Yeah.
That's weird.
After you drink one of those, we're talking like this.
There you
Special Brew was dedicated to him.
Special
It
brew.
was
What,
made
the
for
beer?
him. Carlsberg Special Brew. It was invented for Winston Churchill by
The
Carlsberg.
Danish were like, we're so grateful to Winston Churchill. We're going to name our
Yeah.
special tramp beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
It was supposed to have this like this flavor set that would really appeal to Winston Churchill, and to
We hope
dedicate
you
it
will
to him.
enjoy it. It is very high in alcohol, which we gather is what you're interested in, Mr. Churchill.
You can drink it in one of your parks, perhaps on the bench.
It's very nice with a little open-faced sandwich, perhaps.
So, do you think that, so you're suggesting maybe that Carlsberg Special Brew, like there's a secret that's being kept from people who don't drink Carlsberg Special Brew, that it tastes quite a bit like a pint of champagne?
Oh. Yeah.
Is it like ketchup and brown sauce, where if you close your eyes, you can't tell the difference?
Really?
That's bullshit. I don't believe it. But I've been
Certainly
I've
if you're
been
just
told
looking
it.
at them. Yeah.
Yeah, visually you go,
My God.
Yeah.
I could have my hands in either right now. I'd have no idea.
Yeah. Those are the easiest people to trick. People without object permanence who sort of shut their eyes and are immediately teleported away.
If babies were to have money, then it would be.
I'm listening.
Well, this is my new business.
Go on.
I'm revitalizing.
You have my attention.
Yeah.
A paedophile is like, you mean now they can pay for a round?
No,
This is great. My job got so much cheaper.
My plan is dragons to give babies money, and then we can sell anything to them, which in effect is kind of zero interest rates, really.
I like that.
Sorry, that's more for the other show.
You're doing like
this one.
You're doing like a money equivalent of saying, but what if the baby has no candy? We can only steal it once they have given it to them. And then the fantastic pleasure of theft is ours.
What if we advance the baby some candy at a prohibitive interest rate? What if we were to create some kind of financing system for the candy?
Is this like a German Bond villain?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know,
okay.
yeah.
It's like
that'd be a
Blofeld.
fantastic dragon,
work
wouldn't it?
at a car
Yeah.
dealership.
But now hang on, what about this wooded area?
Yeah. So,
Oh yeah, fuck! I forgot about the wooded area.
More fool you.
almost as though
Yeah.
I'm relaying a story to you that is very easy to go on tangents from. So there's a wooded area, and then there are other works of sort of art that he hired a guy to come and do in his wooded area.
Okay.
There is
I hired a guy to come in my wooded area.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
100 times.
Performance art, like sucking me off. Things like that.
But performance artists are very easily exploited.
Very.
Oh, this is
Controversial.
the establishment.
Yeah.
Yes. Why the Colonel? He's dry. He's so shocked.
Yeah.
I tell you, if you stroked my gooch while you did that, oh boy, David Cameron would be quaking in his boots.
That would show the bourgeoisie if you did that. And like a philosophical thing, if I get sucked off of the woods by a performance artist and no one sees, is it still performance art?
So I guess we got to try it again until someone walks past. So you, how about if we tried this at Wivelsfield Services?
just slowly convincing a performance artist to come dogging with you by a series of increasingly complex justifications. Well, we're doing an art installation in the men's toilet at Beaconsfield Services.
Yes.
And it's just in this one stool, and we're actually keeping the door closed.
Yeah, sort of like frog and boiling water approach to cottaging. Sort of gradually increasing the temperature. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that what he did?
Is that again? I like the car. This guy's gym. This is good.
Listen, I do not
Is our
believe.
guess right?
Yeah.
I do not believe that my friend's dad sort of dragooned a performance artist
Deniability.
into.
Are you saying you don't believe it as in you don't believe it, or I don't believe he?
I can't believe it's not performance art.
and that's the art. That's the art. Is after you're done, that's what you say.
You're actually being pranked by an even bigger performance artist who's orchestrated the whole thing, and the performance artist tricking a performance artist into going dogging as part of what they deem to be performance art, but which is in fact some kind of hack shit.
At this point, the Colonel he's rotating in place. He's so scared.
Yeah.
This is only demons are this tricksy.
Why, it's not satanic at all. It's just straight up fraud. It's a man indulging his sexual urges. Well, you know what's satanic? Have you ever seen Balamori?
This is it
There's a
satanic.
man in a pink castle, the devil himself.
This isn't satanic. It's just meta. Hey, wait a minute. Another one is he hired a guy he had some spare bricks because they just built like a garden enclosure out of brick, and so he had some spare bricks, and said to the guy, "Build an armchair out of brick in the wooded area next to the car and the pole."
Paul, he's losing me here.
Yeah, because
I'm not sure about the brick sofa.
These are becoming things that hillbillies do with stuff that's lying around.
Artists, famous artists.
Well, you go somewhere in the Appalachians. It's like for a joke, I put a car on a pole.
Yeah.
The old pickup. And I armchair in the woods, like that's kind of slightly hillbilly sense of humor.
For to look at the car on the pole.
That's a good name, though. Brick Armchair.
Yeah, well, the armchair's where Zeke goes to sit and
I'm Brick Armchair, and this is my wife.
Yeah, Brick Armchair. Swastika Armchair.
Welcome to Jackass.
So how was Swastika? What was her last name? Sorry, Dick and Swastika Heavy. How was Swastika Heavy?
I'm Dick Armchair, and this is Swastika Heavy,
Welcome
and you're
to
watching
Jackass.
60 Minutes.
Yeah, so how come Swastika Heavy has moved what the Appalachian is? This sort of like the Beverly Hillbillies situation.
Yoga retreat, surely.
It's the only way she can get her writing done.
Yeah.
The only place to write.
And it's an easy place to get meth.
Yeah,
You're
true.
heavy into swastikas.
Heavy into swastikas, and Swastika Heavy loves math. Again, has no idea of the story of its invention. Just thinks it's natural and from in
Or
you
crystals.
Yeah.
It's a plant.
Well, yeah, exactly. Crystals.
Crystals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they say, you
When
could
she
say
says
I'm a crystal mom, in the sense that I'm addicted to meth.
When she says, I think crystals have powers,
She's not wrong.
makes a lot more sense once you realize that she's talking about rocks of meth.
I tell you, I've got powers once I've smoked a few crystals. That would be an amazing thing to discover if basically the only problem with people who are addicted to meth is that there's not enough of them and that they struggle to exist in a society where by and large other people are not addicted to meth, and that actually if everyone was addicted to meth we'd be living in like the Jetsons.
Oh, right. Just so much stuff getting done.
Yeah, because and then it would just sort of synergize.
So
No
you're
one would
saying
be
that-
kind of stigmatizing the meth lifestyle.
In a way, what you're saying is the wrong people are addicted to meth, or not enough of the right people. We could just have gotten like Hawking addicted to meth. He'd have done even more business.
Possibly.
In some way. I mean, he would have done more.
Imagine if it had cured him. Just really unlikely.
Started in the Charleston.
Like he just does meth one time because he's like, oh fuck it, I can't.
Yeah.
There can't be anything more wrong with me, and then he's just fine. And then the doctors are like, well, we just never
Yeah,
considered.
well, it's good news.
It's the
but
last thing that we expected
It's
to
a bit
happen.
embarrassing for the medical profession.
It is good news, but I don't know how we're gonna
Not sure
move on from here.
how we're gonna break it to the
Yeah.
having to reverse engineer why meth cures all illnesses would be a difficult one.
I guess it's like that's just a more extreme version of the quandary around ADHD medication.
Yeah.
You just go, a certain type of person really needs this, but a certain other type of person really mustn't have any.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's difficult to choose between the two.
I'm looking on the internet. If you were wondering why I was typing away on my computer.
They could see by the dog bowl full of water that you have.
Yeah, and this music, this techno beat that's playing in the background. I've got my favorite music on.
It's a bit like Inception when you go on the internet. You've got to have the stuff that you carry to remind you which world is the real world.
Yeah.
You ground yourself with the dog bowl full of water, the music, the air conditioning.
Yeah. No, in this case, no, I was trying to see if anyone has like written about this man's garden, because I can remember one more piece of his strange art. And he's frequently written about, but the garden is mentioned, and there's a picture of the last thing. In this one, you can see there's a little statue of a floating woman made of concrete behind a sort of watered area.
Yeah. So from a
Floating
certain
one.
angle, it would look like a lady lying flat on her back, floating above a lake.
I feel like really he had a huge idea with the car on the pole. And then I feel like his subsequent efforts were quite sophomoric.
I think car in the pole in the middle of the lake would be quite fun. Like it's a swim up bar, you know?
A swim up car.
Yeah.
Hey, it's
Turn it
a message
into-
about drinking and driving, right? Because it's like this is a swim up bar, but it's in a car, and it's a reminder to not drink and drive. And we're gonna send Gagosian down there, and then that's gonna be that.
His ideas are a bit crazy golf course.
Yeah.
There's sort of obstacles in the outdoors of a quirky nature.
There's like a hole in the bottom of the brick armchair, and then another hole in the arm, and then it runs off into the lap of the woman lying by the lake,
Yeah.
and then trickles off onto the car on the pole.
Yeah.
At the crazy golf, and then we got art. A load of people said a load of hipsters started playing crazy golf in you with your art.
Yeah.
Then now we're talking.
We get some oligarchs right in like West London.
Yeah.
Be like, this crazy golf course is actually
An installation.
It's an installation. It's an art installation. This is what.
Okay, but what did the man sucking off the other man have anything to do with?
We'll get to that.
It's part of a much larger plan.
No, this is
Why do you always have to ruin it?
No, you're not supposed to notice them. Fuck.
Don't say that in front of the Colonel.
You're just confusing him. Now I don't know what's good.
Wow, this is a most infernal golf course.
Why does that clown have such an enormous mouth? I imagine it's for the devil's penis. There we go. We've struck gold.
Which, if not long, is very wide.
But devil comes quick. That's why you can close it so fast. You know,
Yeah.
you don't need to be there that much.
The devil has premature ejaculation. So when you're in hell and the devil's fucking you, you never even get to come because the devil's always done so fast.
Oh hell!
Those are like
Yeah.
lyrics or something. That's poetic.
Devil's always comes so like the postman always rings twice.
Yeah.
This comes too fast.
The devil comes too fast is like a sort of Grisham or like airport thriller kind of title of some nature.
That was the one shot that the god got in when he sent him down from heaven, was he took away his stamina.
Yeah. He said, "I'm casting you out from heaven, and you'll be a fallen angel forever." Also, you come too quickly. Quickly shut the door. Fuck! God, really got a last jab in there. Fuck! It's so unfair. Double unfair. First, I'm cast from heaven, and now this. What a raw deal.
I thought being cast from heaven was bad.
I'm on a hair trigger. What are the other crazy golf things? You got clown with big mouth. You got
Windmill, of course.
Windmill, gorilla, like kind of King Kong gorilla thing.
Mm-hmm.
Up a ramp into a little hole. Windmill.
Yeah. Well, that a ramp is just a simple machine. At that point, that's not really a sort of an attraction.
Yeah, the windmill. Yeah.
Yeah. The windmill.
Yeah. And then of course
There's also water, some sort of water attraction. Often.
Oh, yeah.
That's when a Dutchman goes to a crazy golf course. He looks at that windmill and he's like, "Oh, I know I've become very big." That's right. That's the wrong.
What accent was that?
Sure, I've become very big all of a sudden. I was trying to do confused Dutch and it came out a bit Scandinavian.
Like for Dutch people, crazy golf courses are just like model villages.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess actually the Dutch are very big. So a normal village is like a model village.
Yeah, and a normal windmill is crazy golf to them.
Yeah.
Also, I saw. So I'm going to take you through a little chain of reasoning here that I've just gone through. I looked at Wikipedia and I saw the name of the publicans who own the Duke of York. They're called Debbie Sicklemore and Alan Monks. Those are pretty funny names.
Real names.
And then they were sort of fighting to keep their licenses in 2012 because there was some mishigas about the nothing to do with the name, just the Westminster
I
Council.
love that there's been many scandals like afoot at this pub.
Yeah.
They've been clinging on by their fingernails for a while.
It's got what do they call it? The bar in Star Wars, the cantina. It's got like a cantina vibe. It's a very it's an odd set of people. Look, you'll see next time you're in Soho. Just go on, dovetail to the Duke of York.
You go in the Duke of York and it's like
Go see all those weird aliens playing long, thin saxophones.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a bunch of teenagers like, look, I know it's a weird pub, but it does an ID.
Yeah.
Wait, how come the teenager's a middle-aged woman from like Braintree?
Are you saying that teenagers would be in the Duke of York pub? Are you saying that they so easily lured?
It's just all this
I'm suggesting they're attracted by its lax ID policy, which is
consistent.
Yeah, well, that's what I was doing quite a subtle thing here, having actually, as a professional comedian, having already thought of these various elements, and I was dovetailing them together. And what you've done is you've gone back and shown all of my working in a way that I'm sure was to the enjoyment of the viewer.
Yeah,
see, I got distracted by the fact that the sort of your sort of underage drinker voice is the same as your like older woman in Essex talking on the phone voice.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, no, they're very known in the pub. Yeah, I know. I said it's off.
Yeah. So what I
Where's
found...
the local? Well, me and Terry can't go in there anymore.
There's a magazine called The Publican's Morning Advertiser that talked about these.
You can't read that after midday. It's like drinking a cappuccino in Italy. Where people are like, "Sorry, you're reading The Publican's Morning Advertiser. It's 1:45. You madman!" Handing you a copy of The Publican's Afternoon Advertiser.
So, The Publican's Morning Advertiser. It seems like a sort of a very promising thing, right? It's also the headline is Duke of York licensees breathe sigh of relief.
Well, like people are like that makes it sound like people have franchised Prince Andrew to like different countries. They've got like Hispanic Prince Andrew. You know,
it's like when you see Korean Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought, hey, the Publican's Morning Advertiser, that could be pretty fun to look at for a second, especially because the tagline is the inspiration for pub success since 1794. The Morning Advertiser has been around for a fucking while.
1794.
That can't be right.
1794. But on the headline, it's not even called the Publican's Morning Advertiser. It's just the Morning Advertiser, but it's only for pubs. And you look, and it's just a bunch of very informational tips about like beating wasps, for example.
Beating wasps. Like the posh North Americans, or like what are we dealing with?
Beating wasps at their own game.
You thought
this pub stings back.
Yeah. You thought I could be sort of drunk and emotionally cold? You've seen nothing yet.
Of course, it has long been tradition for a pub landlord to cover the bar at the top of it in a thin layer of jam. But this has always presented a dilemma for the publican, since it does invariably attract the attention of wasps. What is to be done? Barry Snuggs investigates.
Barry Snuggs boldly opens a pub on a wasp's nest. See how they like it.
Ancient Indian burial ground, but just like way lower stakes.
Yeah.
Stephen King novel about a man who opens a pub on a wasp.
I think in a wasp nest, actually. Just the wasp being like, oh, we got pubs.
It's so small, a wasp nest.
I tried to sit down with the wasp and reason with him, but he wasn't interested at all, so I had to take matters into my own hands.
He's got a completely different worldview.
So,
a bee you can sort of see eye to eye with. They make honey. It's a trade. Good. They've got a hierarchical system in a beehive. But the wasps, they're a little better than communists.
Me and the bees, respect for monarchy. Yeah.
Very nice.
They've got their queen. We've got our queen, and we all have sex with her. It's much the same, really.
So I've now just gone onto the Wikipedia page for the Publican's Morning Advertiser.
Okay.
It is one of the oldest news publications in the world.
Wow.
It actually is from 1794.
Wow.
It's also interesting because the pub is really not a morning place. Is it the idea that the publican, for them, the morning is the time when they have time to consider the business of being a publican, and it's they're too busy in the afternoons and evenings, serving people with liquors and hearty pies.
Yeah, well, it must be quite good to imagine reading a newspaper that could be full of something that you might be using within a few hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell,
Yeah,
It's
wasp deterrence.
The history section on his Wikipedia is every sentence madder than the last.
Okay.
The Publican's Morning Advertiser was first published in 1794 by the London Society of Licensed Victuallers, being devoted to trade interests rather than the support of a political party. Its circulation.
I like the idea that every previous newspaper that they'd provided for publicans had inevitably gone into like a dispute along party lines. Well, I'm not reading that. I don't care what their advice on wasps is. They're a bunch of dirty Whigs.
Its circulation in the middle of the 19th century was second only to that of the Times.
Yeah, fucked. What?
Shit.
Yeah. Everyone was reading it.
Half of everyone in Britain actually ran a pub at this time.
Did Tim, what's his name? Tim Martin?
Yeah.
Did he buy it out?
Wetherspoons guy.
Is it just rebranded? Because that's basically the...
Well, it's now like a
equivalent.
Brexit-only newspaper.
You know the ones on the table in the Wetherspoon?
Yeah.
I don't think I've been into Wetherspoons
mad
since
articles
the insane Wetherspoons internal
they've got their
newspaper has
own-
been a thing.
They've got their own publication.
Yeah.
It was
And it's-
bought by another.
Guess what I do with wasps? Send them back to fucking Bulgaria.
It was bought in 2011 by another magazine that was started in 1862 called The Grocer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, the Grocer I've heard of.
Yeah. And which spun off the Brewer's Journal. So, it was.
Oh, so it doesn't exist?
That's the name of a pub.
That's a
Yeah.
great
That
pub.
itself could be a pub.
It feels like it's sort of because for a second, what you want to say is the brewer's journey, like a sort of like a Bildungsroman for a man who starts a pub and his battle with his one mortal enemy, the wasp.
Yeah. Brewer's Journal, just beer again.
Yeah.
Really dull diary. Beer again.
Delivery of hops today.
Yeah, that'll be good for the beer. More
Hello
wasps.
to Dave from the hop farm. Yeah, he always brings the hops. Known him for a while.
Yeah.
Nothing new with him. Just hops on his end, really.
Last name of Heavy. Although he's got a son who's going into banking, I suspect his great-great-granddaughter will be very posh. So the second only out of the Times. So it was a very popular paper. Charles Dickens was an early contributor.
Oh.
And Alistair Campbell worked as a reporter early in the career for the Publican's Morning Advertiser.
Alistair Campbell on the WASP beat, which so many political advisors have cut their teeth on.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you can outwit the WASP, you can outwit the Tories. That's what they say.
What the inspiration behind Charles Dickens' character, Sippy Pissman. It's where he started getting all these incredibly on-the-nose names from. And Vommy Pints.
Oh, but Mr. Pissman, please, we're all covered in wasps. Please, can we wash off the marmalade, sir? No, you work for me. You'll keep the marmalade on as long as I see fit.
In what capacity would your job have to be wearing marmalade?
This is a high-class inn for men who enjoy the company of young boys.
And it's perfectly normal back now.
Yeah, it's legal.
You're like a sort of Paddington
We
hooker.
just had this watercolour commission. What am I supposed to do? Will I change it? Put them on.
Yeah.
I imagine the Duke of York is always a title held by a paedophile. Like it's sort of,
Oh, it's like the heir to the throne is the Prince of Wales.
yeah. Like the court paedophile is always given.
What an important role to give to someone like that, though. Like that's like the Duke of York, historically, a very, very powerful position.
Yeah. Well, there would be so much competition for the court paedophile back in the day. It would be more like the court most a paedophile.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Hard to choose.
Yeah, it would be tricky.
Oh.
Yeah.
It is the UK's oldest continuously produced paper.
Mhm.
And they actually, the Reuters news service, which started in 1858, they were the first paper to subscribe to it. This has been, it's like Forrest Gump of like the history of newsprint. It's been everywhere in the background.
Ticker tape like coming out of like the sort of like the brass egg that dispenses the news wire at the Reuters office in like fucking 1860, and it's like tavern open in Vauxhall, stop. Wasps abound, stop. Constabulary alerted, stop.
Queen gives royal warrant to new tavern in Vauxhall and swears this will never be a place for the gays. A little bit of southwest London humor for you.
Yeah.
Didn't Queen Victoria specifically have a real thing about lesbians that she didn't think they existed?
That was quite a Victorian thing in general, I think. They're just like, well, this is when girls are a bit silly. Messing about.
Frolicking and such like.
Yeah.
And it's, I guess...
They're not in the Bible, probably why.
It's like a non-canon appearance.
They just go, well, if it's not in there.
Being presented with a steam loom and being like...
Probably just messing about. And if it's not in there.
It's fun to like treat the Bible as like an encyclopedia. Just sort of trying to just like look up new stuff in it and being like, oh, it doesn't really... It's not much of an entry on...
if it's not a problem, I don't see why I should care about it.
Yeah.
That's probably their attitude.
But you just have to start sort of like reading stuff into it. Like, no, if you sort of look at it this way, the Ephesians 42:12, and then he spun the wool of a great many sheep could refer to the steam loom.
Yeah.
The steam loom is now canon.
These dickheads camped out on here's another one. They camped out on Brixton Hill, like picketing the abortion clinic.
Oh, really?
Brixton Hill, we got a bit of that stuff coming in.
Oh, that's another.
It's another Bible thing I thought of.
More of the
said that
Americanization of.
Yeah. The discourse.
Man,
it's good.
Have they gotten like? Have they reached that same level of skill as the crazy Americans with like HD photos of horrifying?
Yeah, it's that vibe. Yeah.
Oh wow, they've really gone for it.
They sort of perfected it over there.
Exactly.
And then it was like so many sort of
it's a straight import. It's like McDonald's. It's a franchise.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, it's exactly the same.
Jazz.
Yeah.
Well, McDonald's is a little dick. You can get a different one in France. Yeah.
You get the little,
you
get
get
your
the
little
Royale
local.
with cheese.
Yeah.
You get some
whatever.
of Ronald's pate.
My friend said
Would
he
you like was the Happy Meal? Would you like the toy or the cigarette?
The foie gras is from. We have a phosphate grimace corn.
So the foie gras is purple?
Yeah, it's purple foie gras. And it's from force feeding Grimace and
Grimace
mincing
in a
up his fatty
cage
liver.
Yeah,
in the back of the fucking Palace of Versailles McDonald's.
Grimace is real and he cannot die. His existence is torture.
Yeah.
He stole fire and he gave it to humanity.
Foie grimace.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's nice.
Yeah,
that's
That is
perfect.
nice. It's actually a great delicacy, the foie gras, and it's very cheap to produce.
Unfortunately, I've run out of my friend's dad's strange
Yeah.
art.
Well, that's fine because I'm very much still on making pate out of grimace.
Yeah.
Into the little shop of horrors at French McDonald's.
Yeah. What
Ronald
would,
McDonald, but he's like a Gaulier style clown. You know,
Yeah.
he's there and
Yeah.
he's just critiquing. He's like, this is not ironic enough.
yeah, it's all more like sort of imagine if I thought burgers should be like this. Wouldn't that be silly?
Uh-huh. So,
What if this burger was your uncle who abused you as a child?
How would you
What
eat
would
it?
you say to him in mime?
How would you eat it then?
so, so
It's just like a 6-year-old trying to buy a meal.
so wait,
He's
so
just
this
like,
is
do you not see the absurdity of all human life in this burger?
so what French McDonald's asks. How would you eat your uncle?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Morning Advertiser article, page 3.
Yeah.
I saw a very interesting performance art piece about that.
Well, that's. I think we
The
could.
man had clearly been hoodwinked.
I think we could probably get the get like the YBAs into the McDonald'sing industry.
Well, yeah, because it's like
Tracy Emin came and fucked up our kitchen.
Yeah.
because if Damien Hirst is just paying lots of art students to just paint the butterflies over and over again, or whatever the scheme is now, that's not that different to just McDonald's franchises and just flipping out the same burgers using this sort of pre-existing system.
Yeah.
Low cost, mass produced Damien Hirst is quite a funny concept. Just going in there. It's kind of like TK Maxx. There's like a wall of crystal skulls. You know, there's like a.
Well, like it becomes like a nostalgia thing in 30 years. Like,
Yeah, French
Who-
Damien Hirst.
who had one of these in their bedroom? A platinum skull covered in diamonds. Like, oh yeah, man.
There's people on TikTok.
Yeah.
Damien Hirst Furby. Now there's a concept.
Yeah. I'm actually going to this thrift store. It's actually this skull from 2023. Oh my god, you can see it's vintage. You get it anywhere. I got 10 under my bed.
Unboxing
Yeah.
formaldehyde shark.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't actually open the lid. It's the fumes of that are pretty toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it would be fun to watch someone unbox the formaldehyde shark, pass out from the fumes, fall in, and join the shark in sort of eternity.
Now that's art.
That's
Yeah.
Now that's
you
art.
French
have to
stuff
have, like-
that with.
Yeah, yeah, you can eat that at
Yeah,
French
yeah,
McDonald's.
exactly.
You need to get like a little like bait, right, and put it over the shark so people like
Yeah.
lean in. So
Yeah.
maybe it's like, hey, you can. There's a free high value Damien Hirst just over this Shark Tank with all those
Or-
other people in it.
A car on a pole. You're trying to climb up and get the car.
You can drive this car away. It's like Excalibur, but
Yeah, exactly. The
With a car.
shark, the shark in formaldehyde underneath it. Well, the
we'll-
shark's dead, so it should be
or
okay.
just a live shark in water.
yeah.
What
Well,
would-
yeah, that's much
What
better.
would be bait for like an influencer or like a TikToker? Do you think? Like, what object is there? An object you think that would be particularly like?
Mm.
It's the object that in a cartoon would be underneath the box, held up with a twig with a string on it.
Mm.
Cocaine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
The very concept
yeah,
of
yeah.
clout.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
clout.
just like a USB that you say that's got compromising pictures of an influencer more famous than you on it.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Maybe
yeah,
a selfie opportunity.
I feel like that.
Selfie opportunity is
What,
pretty
you're
good.
gonna write that because you're gonna write that on the sign above a little box, like compromising picture of an influencer more popular than
Yeah.
you. Put it on the box with the little string. and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's art. We've just
That is,
described some
yes,
actual
very well
installation
done.
art.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done it.
Instagram influencers is easy. It's just neon angel wings, right, on a
We
wall.
won the game.
It's like free holiday to Dubai at the bottom of this Shark Tank.
There's a really
Ah.
good view from the top of the
I
shark
once had
tank.
an idea for a thing I wanted to do where I was going to make a club called Blue Tick.
Oh,
Okay,
Like a
yeah,
members
nice.
club.
That
for
would be
the-
very different now, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
gone now, isn't it?
It
But
would be
No,
funny now.
they're still there.
as a concept, though,
It's,
it was
it's like the
an old
beefsteak
concept.
club, like the sort of the concept that it originally refers to is gone.
Yeah,
it would
right,
have to be.
Yeah.
It would be a club where it would be like blue ticks, and then like the subheading under the neon sign would be Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram,
We
TikTok.
mean Instagram.
Not. Yeah.
Not twist.
Yeah, I
you
was
see,
gonna.
in the Web 2 era, there were these people on the internet known as blue ticks, who were often journalists and other minor celebrities who would sit around and talk like precocious children
Yeah.
at the dinner table.
It's an oversimplification to call them the fifth estate or the fourth estate. They were something new. There'll be some wallpaper on the blue ticks. I think
It was
that's
sort
bang
of
on.
a wooded area at the back of the estate.
You could be someone like Stephen Fry, you could be a journalist at a paper, you could be an artist getting sucked off in the woods. I mean, there's any kind of...
You could be someone who'd written a listicle for BuzzFeed in 2014. You know, there were many. The blue ticks were a broad church.
You could be a man with $8. Be any sort of thing.
You could have been a man who wrote messages in balloon.
God,
Why?
I did look up what Damien Hirst has done recently.
What's he up to?
Well, he's built a 60-foot sculpture. I think he might have taken our idea.
Oh, no.
What's he done?
Well, he's built a 60-foot sculpture just called Demon with Bowl. I think he's trying to...
That's bowl as in a bowl that you would eat from?
Yeah.
Right.
Like a bowl, not like a bolus.
Or like a bowl of water one might keep next to the computer.
Yeah.
Damien Hirst. What does it look like?
Well, it's sort of a guy. It's a big
sort
guy.
Of a headless bronze statue.
It's a big fella just walking.
Apparently he's quite a funny guy. Bob Mortimer says he's the funniest guy he's ever met.
Damien Hirst.
Yeah. Don't know what that means.
That's a hell of a thing.
That is Bob Mortimer's sense of humour, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
a shark in formaldehyde. Who'd ever think of that? It does have everything he makes has the sort of the oeuvre of someone who is doing kind of like a sign language interpretation of the show Shooting Stars for the Deaf, but for someone who can only interpret things through the medium of visual art. So everything that Vic Reeves and Bob Mortimer says, he has to construct as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that's true. We're just sort of like, it's just loads of pictures of butterflies. Imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can kind of see that would be
butterflies forever, the most expensive butterflies you've ever seen.
No, we're not parking outside. I parked on top of a lamppost.
Damien Hirst's new exhibit, Geordie Jumpers. The pocket for your tabs.
It's a very
mustache.
sad man.
Horse mustache was
Vic Reeves is
a
a
man who's
better
been
artist.
laid off from the steel mill, looking over the Tyne Bridge, hanging on to the wrong side of the railing.
At some point, you three started talking a different language that wasn't English.
Okay, sorry.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Shooting Stars is a comedy panel show in the sort of surrealist genre that was on British television in the late 90s and then again briefly in the early 2010s.
Yeah.
It features British comedians Vic Reeves and Bob Mortimer, who it's very silly.
Oh,
silly.
okay.
Silly.
Sort of some stuff will happen and it'll be very silly, and then they'll say some silly things about it, and then the show is over. None of it makes sense. There are no sequiturs.
No.
That actually sounds pretty good.
In a way, making it sort of all sequitur.
I like it.
My soul sequiturs in there.
If you think about it in a way, when there is no logical connection between all of it, that is itself a sort of through line as an artistic direction. Sorry, but Tracy Emin, she has shit in your air conditioning. It's unclear as to whether that's art or just a product of the fact that she has been in there for some time.
You want to get rid of it before it gets listed.
Otherwise, you can't move it, and it will take a while for the smell to go.
Yeah. Ever since Marcel Duchamp, this thing's been rife.
Well, someone had Marcel Duchamp in their toilet. Couldn't get rid of him.
There's a line here where Damien Hirst refers to his peninsular artworks.
Yeah, peninsular.
Imagine making so much art on peninsulas that you think, I've got to separate these off genre-wise from my other stuff.
There was only an archipelagos before Damien Hirst came along.
So he's talking about how he's loving that there's the Demon Bowl, which feels like I would watch that kind of football. He says, I'm happy to play a small role in helping this part of London as it becomes a huge cultural hub. But the Greenwich Peninsula is not a huge cultural hub. It's odd. It had the dome with the boy in it.
Sure, yeah.
And the various, Morgan Stanley presents the future of money, but in 1999, when it was like, someday a calculator will be small enough you can carry it around.
Yeah, where you can walk through a human body.
You can walk through weird that you could do that in the Future of Money exhibition.
Yeah, that was strange.
Yeah, strange that. And then
the future of money is you'll be able to buy a gigantic body to walk through. Who wouldn't want that?
You could put it in a wooded area by your house.
That's right. You can now that would be good if someone had just reconstructed the whole Millennium Dome at their house.
He only did it for 6 months. He had 3 ideas, and then he just abandoned being a kind of conceptual Damien Hirst style hire it out artist.
No, this is how we kickstart the British economy. I think they should just fucking fuck the O2, redo the Millennium Dome exactly as it was, but this time it's sort of a joke, but no one's quite sure what the joke is. everyone would go. If they were like, we've reopened the Millennium Dome, it's exactly dress up like it's 2000.
Yeah.
We're going to play like Madonna.
Yeah, Robbie Williams.
Yeah. All that stuff.
What if we also restart the economy by...
Blair.
Yeah.
Tony Blair's album.
He's there. What about if we restart the economy by just having like the entire nation switch from like, oh, the only thing we really do is service industry stuff to conceptual art.
Yeah.
The whole country. People just all around the world. You know how people go like, oh, it used to be all the cutlery it's made in Sheffield on it all over the world.
Yeah.
Oh, it used to be you had some sort of fucked up animal skull mounted on a plinth made right here in England.
Yeah. If everybody's like 100 years on from that, well, ever since they closed down the formaldehyde tank factory and the shark factory in Warrington, there's been really nothing for people here to do. We've all had to go into
I'm a deconstructionist. My father was a deconstructionist.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Oh, no, we've not had Tracy Emin in the air conditioning ducts here for 70 years.
Can I just say Tracy Emin's a Tory?
I think that makes
surprising.
sense.
I mean, they were
a big David Cameron person.
I met Tracy Emin once.
Did you?
Yeah. So,
yes, I remember this.
So my ex-girlfriend was
Tracy Emin.
She was involved in the art world, and then one day at this event, Tracy Emin really wanted to like be introduced to her, and the whole thing was weird because they'd met before. It was this very like odd. Anyway, so then at a certain point, all this fanfare is made by various people who are like kind of, I don't know, fixers of Tracy Emin, like people who know Tracy Emin who are kind of like, Tracy Emin wants to come over and talk to you, like she's the queen or something, right?
Yeah.
And so by this point, I'm already kind of annoyed by this. Tracy Emin comes over, and then it's just kind of like, she kind of like started the conversation by turning up, but then didn't say anything and was just kind of waiting to be sort of spoken to. It was very odd. And then after a while, this very awkward conversation.
Are you suggesting, sorry, that one of the YBAs is odd?
Crazy, I know.
Yeah.
And then I start whispering in my then girlfriend's ear, can I ask her if she's Banksy? And then she's like, going to be like, you absolutely cannot do that. And I'm like, but wouldn't it be really funny to go, wait, I know you. Aren't you Banksy? And then when she says, no, I'm not Banksy, go like, yeah, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
You're not Banksy. Sorry, yeah. No, you refuse to believe her. No,
sorry.
mum's the word.
I mean, that's actually, I think, probably Banksy's greatest cultural contribution is the ability to have that interaction with literally anybody.
Yeah. It's a
That's
beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Your friend's dad could be Banksy. It could be an elaborate decoy. You'd be like, well, that man could never be Banksy.
Yeah.
Banksy would never put a car on a pole.
That man could never spray paint a gun, but where the bullets are like Nerf darts.
Yeah. A gun,
That's
but where
beyond
it
him.
has a flag with "calm" written on it coming out of the end.
Why? Well, he could never. What mind could create gay policemen? Kissing while on the job? Clearly, they're in their uniform.
Homosexuality is illegal.
That's how you know it's art. Yeah. That's how you know he's good.
Yeah.
Some kind. We're all ruled by apes is precisely what the devil himself would want.
That's evolution. That's the devil.
Only the mind of Beelzebub could conjure the idea of a naked man hanging from a windowsill. It's perverse. Why would a man be hanging from a windowsill, much less a man with no clothing on?
I'd be so depressed if we did all this and the Colonel just led us to Banksy. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
He's brought us back to Banksy.
He's cracked it.
Yeah, he's the devil. Yeah, he's won.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, the best cover for Banksy is to be the Colonel, is to be an anti-satanic art
Kaiser
activist.
Associate.
Yeah.
He gets-
very nice.
You get all his great ideas. But it's not surprising to me that all the YBAs are massive Tories because, their whole thing is just nihilistic product making.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's basically like Tracy Emin's Unmade Bed or Damien Hirst, the various skulls or whatever. That's just derivatives for people who can't do math. It's just I've created some value out of nothing,
And it is derivative.
Who could forget Damien Hirst's best work, Various Skull?
I don't know what he did.
No,
I don't love his
I'm
methods.
not criticizing. I think that's a fun way of describing it.
Yeah.
Like and that would be I think Damien Hirst should go even more low effort. He should start to, I don't know, it's a fucking box of skulls.
It's some ham I bought.
Yeah. I've written Damien Hirst on it, so you're gonna buy it.
Yeah.
Damien Hirst just finally losing his mind and just walking around a room full of rich people who want to buy art and just writing like Damien Hirst like on the kettle. Go on, it's £1 million.
Yeah, Damien Hirst wandering around an oligarch's mansion signing ham.
Yeah, this guy's like, but that is my kettle. You just he's like, it's mine now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got my name on it.
He's got to say exactly.
Yeah, if you want it back, it's £1 million.
Yeah.
So he could
Like
start a
Grand
kind
Bully.
of hostage program.
Damien Hirst infected by some kind of syphilitic madness, writing Damien Hirst on the face of the oligarch's child. You want this child back? Don't wash the child. It's worth a lot more with my signature on it.
But that would be probably if Damien Hirst could sort of put a capstone on his career by doing something like that, it would make the whole thing worth it.
Yeah.
Before turning the marker pen on himself.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Blue Factory!